Hello everyone, this is Jotto, and welcome back to my Valiant Dawn full set review. For this video, we'll be doing Nature. Yes, Nature moving into the set is one of the strongest. We've got Hate Bears, Elves, the Care Bears, as we kind of named it earlier, the Order version of Hate Bears. So there are some good Nature decks that have showed up on ladder since the ladder just reset tonight. So anyway, Nature moving into this is in a very, very strong position. So the real question is, where is it going to be at the end? Well, let's have a look into it, shall we? First things first, the skill shrine, Moonlight Monument. 1 nature and 1 generic for Rune of Might, 1 mana, 2 turn cooldown. Next time you play a level 1 creature this turn, another allied creature gets +1/+1 until end of turn. This is terrible. It just is. Okay, so compares to Elven Sanctuary. Well, is it same cooldown? I haven't played Elven Sanctuary in a while. Is it 3 turn or 2 turn? Actually, might as well check. Okay, that's 3 turns. So it's shorter cooldown, but about as restrictive because you need a level 1 creature. And the one that really gets me is that you need 2 levels for it, so that's a bit weak. And also, you can't just make it for 1 mana. Having it at 1 mana would be so good, but you can't just play Moonlight Monument and get the combat trick for 1 mana because you need the creature to play. So, I mean, best case scenario is 2 mana. The other one that kind of kills it for me is that you can't self-buff Ambushing Sharpshooter and Haldir Rider. Especially Sharpshooter, that's the big one. You can't self-buff Sharpshooter. That's a problem. That is a big problem. If you could self-buff Sharpshooter like Elven Sanctuary could, maybe. But even then, yeah, not a good card. Not the worst of the skill shrines, but not the best either. Goblin Warrior. 1 mana, 1 nature for the requirements. It's common, 1/1 with 2 speed. Goblin Warrior. Gurko Tribe Warrior gets +1 attack, +1 speed for each other goblin that entered the field under your control this turn. This is not Grove Guardian. It is far from Grove Guardian, so I don't like this guy, at least for the moment. The reason is because all the goblins are Rage Start, and they're all level 1s, more or less. So they're all level 1s, which means that you can't really curve with the Gurko Tribe Warrior very well. And then at most it's going to be attacking for 2. Rage 1-drops already do that, it's kind of their thing. Like, Grove Guardian's amazing because it can attack for 3. So, like, where's your bonus here? Gibber and Ronnie compared to Brother in Arms? For the same turn that you can effectively do that, Brother in Arms can get the double Swift, Gibbo can't. Yeah, and also +1 speed is not as good as +1 HP. +1 speed is a good bonus, but +1 HP is just insane. Because it allows you to take free kills with your 1-drop. So, yeah, Grove Guardian just makes this look like it's pathetic. Maybe in the future, when there's a lot of nature goblins, but not for now. Shooting Sprout. Ah yes, the nature token, but also a creature card. There's a couple of these in nature. 1 mana, 1 nature, common, 0/1 with 1 speed, double all attack and HP modifications that it receives. This is bad. The reason for it is because, yes, you can get absolutely crazy with, like, implants and make them into 6, like, +6/+6, and it gets absolutely nuts. The problem is it has 1 speed, which means it gets chumped until the end of time. So, you need Overcharger. Otherwise, this gets chumped. And if you don't have Overcharge or any of other buffs, no one cares, because it just gets jumped until the end of time, or bounced, or removed immediately, because it has no impact. It has to be able to attack immediately to really be of use. So, not playable on its own at all. Not playable as the actual card. Now, what makes them? Sprouting Totem. 1 mana, 1 nature, common totem, 3 energy. Whenever a shaman enters the field, you may pay 1 energy, that's like the totem subtext there, to put a shooting sprout onto the field, which is the 0/1. At the end of turn, if Sprouting Totem has no energy, sacrifice it. Now, Sprouting Totem, if I recall correctly, has really strange wording. Yes, all the other totems say destroy, this says sacrifice, which is a mistake. Oh, wrong card. Which is a mistake because it actually doesn't work with one of the shamans later, and it's really awkward. It's either a mistake or intentional but odd. I mean, I might ask the devs about it on the forums at some point, but I mean, it's not exactly a big deal, let's be honest here, but like, I might ask them at some point. But anyway, so, what do I think of this? I don't think it's good. I only think this is good with Totem of the Moon because you can make a bunch of sprouts and then buff them, but the problem is you need the sprouts in play to buff them to be useful. So there's a disconnect there, and I don't like that. I don't like that you have to have 2 shaman combo turns in a row. That's really hard. Because, what, you want to play 2 shamans, get some sprouting, and then get Totem of the Moon, play some more shamans? I don't think that's going to happen. I could be wrong, as always, but I don't think that's going to happen. So yeah, I'm not a fan of the plant totem. Fleeting Fairy. 2 mana, 1 nature, uncommon, 1/1, 3 speed, flying, fairy, 1 energy, and whenever a fairy you control dies, you may pay 1 energy to return it to your hand. Including itself. Yes, it includes itself, and that is very abusable. So, when I first saw this on the spoiler, I was like, oh, it's terrible. Yeah, I was correct. When I first saw it on the spoiler, the way I thought it worked, it was terrible. And I was like, oh, it doesn't work on itself because it's not in play, and yeah, it's bad. But it does work on itself, which thinks, oh, okay, infinite value engine, because you get to play it and dies, bounce, dies, bounce. Yeah, sure, but it's a 1/1, that could be okay. Here's the problem, Stronghold Metropolis. Yeah, Stronghold Metropolis has been completely broken by this set. Between this and cloning that, it's just insane. Like, Fleeting Fairy with Stronghold Metropolis sounds like, oh, you could just play cloning that. But there is actually a reason why you'd want Fleeting Fairy. The reason for it is that you can, if you have more mana, you can actually have 1 Fleeting Fairy also act as a 1/1 for blocking and draw you a card if you have 4 mana. And also, it doesn't get annihilated by like Dr. Styx or just artifact removal in general. So Dr. Styx is the brutal one, but like there's a ton of other ones. Like Gnome and Dr. Styx are the really brutal ones because they have like bodies along with them. The 2/1 and then the 4/2 that becomes a 6/4. So yeah, those are the brutal ones. But Fleeting Fairy is not subject to that weakness. What's the disadvantage? You need to play green. Is that worth it? Possibly, because landslide. Yeah. So Fleeting Fairy is part of the like trio, or there's a couple of cards that I'm just making. Stronghold Metropolis, like the trio of Cloning Vat, Fleeting Fairy, Stronghold Metropolis is like really hyper strong. It's like infinite draw for 2 mana. So it's, yeah, they're gonna have to change that. When, I don't know, they might change Stronghold Metropolis at this rate because it seems like it's way too easy to abuse. But I think Fleeting Fairy probably shouldn't bounce itself. I probably like this card a lot more if it was a 1/2, not a 2/1 because that already is a card. A 1/2 that had the same ability but other creature, other fairy. I'd like that, I think. Make it more defensive, but it works with other fairies, not itself. Make it more combo-y. I'd like that. But the way it is currently is just Stronghold Metropolis fodder. So yeah, strong card, but a bit probably unintentional in the way it works with the current stuff. There's also like infinite combos with this in Morning Fairy, which we'll get to. Gurko Tribe Shaman. 2 mana, 1 nature. With the common rarity, 2/1, 2 speed, you may play Gurko Tribe Shaman under a creature you control to put a Might emblem on that creature. When that creature leaves the field, return the shaman to the field. He is a goblin and a shaman. So this works with the goblin, but there's not enough of them. And it works well with shamans, but that's not where he's seen play. Where's he seen play? Care Bears. So yeah, that's the order nature reverence deck, basically, that Star Watcher came up with. So yeah, we named it on stream. It was just like, we need a name for this, and someone just said Care Bears, and it's like, that's genius. But anyway, so Gurko Tribe Shaman's really good there. It's a decent 2-drop. It's very, very solid. It's a Might Emblem. You can instill it, and I think you can get the Might Emblem off it when you instill it. Not sure about that. It used to be bugged with Kainu. I think that's been fixed now. So yeah, it just works as intended. But yeah, the card is solid. Is it good in the long run? I don't know. But it's solid and playable, and I like the design on the card. I like the dual nature of cards, so whenever I can get them. I mean, one of my favorite design cards in the entire game is Goblin Fireworker. The dual nature of the like dorky body that has a good second effect, but not like overwhelmingly good. And it's the same with Gurko Tribe Shaman. His secondary effect doesn't like cause you to sacrifice him, but the body on it's worse. So he reminds me of Fireworker with the dual nature, and that I like. Ritual of Gardens, 2 mana, 1 nature, rare. spell, exhaust any number of fairies you control, put a nature creature with mana cost equal to that number from your hand onto the field, draw a card. This doesn't work. It looks insane, but it doesn't work. The reason it doesn't work is it's not that there aren't any targets. There is one now in this set, but you need 4 fairies to get it to work, and you need 3 fairies to get it to work with anything else, and it's just not worth it. Like, think about it this way. Let's say you have 3 fairies in play, and you play Ritual the Guardian of Gardens, and you put a Sun Chaser into play. I don't know. But anyway, you put some 3 mana nature creature into play. Well, you could have just used Kayanu or Reverence. Like, Reverence probably would have been what allowed you to get that many fairies into play in the first place, and that also draws you cards. So yeah, it just doesn't fit. It's a cool card, probably okay in the future. It depends on the fairies, but it's a cool card, and I doubt it'll see any play. But I kind of like with Grand Reunion, I'm happy it exists because it's cool to tinker with. So I don't think it's underpowered or overpowered or whatever, but I think that it's cool that it's in the game because I love these kinds of cards sometimes. Silver Fang. 2 mana, 1 nature, rare, legendary, 2/2, 3 speed, and Silver Fang is deadly in combat against creatures of evil. It's a spirit and a wolf, which works with Thionor. Now, this is Thionor's token, and this guy is good. He's very good. Thionor and Silver Fang were both secret cards, and they both made quite a significant splash. Neither of them are overpowered, but they've made a significant splash. Silver Fang is used in elves because you can use it with the Swift, and it's also just an extra elf warrior. You can use it with the Swift and take out implanted creatures and things like that, and mutant, and also it'll get better because of Minotaur and things like that. But Thionor has also made a splash in stuff like Hate Bears and Kayanu Blue, so yeah, the duo have been very, very good, and I love both of these cards. Not going to talk about it too much because, well, it's a bit of a basic card, and also we've had it in the game for a couple of weeks at this point. Totem of the Moon, the other totem. This was also part of the secret cards when they did the shaman one. 2 mana, 1 nature, uncommon, 2 energy this time, and whenever you play shaman, it's +1/+1 to end of turn. Now that's an aura effect until end of turn, which means it affects everything afterwards. So you're offering your priests to get a bit insane the more you play. And at the end of turn, destroy it if it doesn't have any energy. Now that's why it was a bit weird that Sprouting Totem has Sacrifice when all the others have Destroy. Totem of the Moon, I think, is powerful. The problem with Totem of the Moon is the rest of the deck. It's like it's competing with the Rage ones. Those are super strong, so you need an extra totem. It's not going to be Sprouting Totem. It might be Totem of the Moon. You might need an extra totem to make the hero power work. Maybe play 15 totems. That could work. Like 15 totems, the hero power work most times. That could be good, but the problem is the deck just isn't good enough. Like, Offering Yard Priest breaks control decks. So that's a thing, and you'll be playing Rage, so you can deal with Cloning Bat to get through. So yeah, maybe it can work. I doubt it. I think it's still a little low on power level, and with all the artifact destruction running around right now, it's just don't even try. So yeah, Shamans is a deck. I think it's going to be the nature variant, not the corruption variant, but I don't think it's there. Speaking of Shamans, Birchwood Invoker, 3 mana, 1 nature, uncommon, 3/1, 2 speed. Whenever a totem you control is destroyed, +1 energy, it starts with 1. It is an elf and a shaman, and you have channeling, and you can pay its energy for the mana cost of totems. This is too slow. The reason for it is that totems get destroyed because of energy at end of turn. That's the problem. They get destroyed end of turn. Well, it's a problem and also a boon because it means you can get extra uses out of them with Raki Tribe. Is it Raki Tribe Shaman? Anyway, Raki. The 2/3. So you get extra uses out of them if you spent the last energy to draw a card, and then you get the Shaman, and you pump up the energy a little bit more. You get the idea. So anyway, so it's both a boon and also a drawback in the case of Birchwoods. It helps get extra totems out, but you're probably not going to be using this 3/1. It's the body on it's kind of bad. Okay, it's really bad actually, and it's expensive. 3 mana is a lot for some totem triggers, so that's a no-go on the shaman there. Earthquake, 3 mana, 1 nature, rare. It is a spell. Each hero distributes X damage among non-flying creatures he or she controls, where X is your nature level +3. So this is hitting for 3 on turn 3. It's symmetrical. That's terrible. Like Arrow Barrage is not seeing a lot of play right now because it's terrible late game. So if that's not seeing play, this won't. So, but Arrow Barrage is much better than this. But anyway, so later on, let's say you're playing Mono Green. You go 2 levels. Okay, so that's 5. But that's late game, so it won't kill anything. And then you could just have Landslide. So where is this good? Say faeries, like faeries because it only hits non-flyers. There's the faeries deck, you can use that. But I don't know, like you can use faeries. I guess you can go 3 nature and 1 dominion or something. I don't know, but okay, 3 nature for the sake of argument. 3 nature, 6 damage distribution isn't actually a lot. Not that late in the game. That's like 1 creature death. It's awkward, and the fact that it's symmetrical just makes it terrible. This is a board clear that just failed. The distribute cards in general have been underpowered overall, I think. But anyway, Moonlight Patrol, 3 mana, 1 nature, with the common rarity, 2/2, 3 speed, flying, starts with 1 energy, it is a fairy, and you can pay 1 energy to give it +1/+1 to end of turn. Now, this is like Elven Skyrider. It's better than Elven Skyrider because neither of them see constructed play, which means for Trials' sake, this is better. Because Nienna's not really a thing in Trials. So, for constructed, it'd be worse because, well, Nienna. But for Trials, it's better because, well, Nienna. Nienna's really awkward in Trials, whereas in constructed, you can build your deck around it, and Skyrider doesn't make the cut. So, I don't think either of those 2 cards are, well, these 2 cards, I guess, Moonlight Patrol and Skyrider are playable. However, it's worth noting that one is not strictly better than the other. They're both kind of mediocre. I'll leave it at that. They're both sort of okay. It's not the worst Trials pick. It's not terrible. The being able to be a 3/3 for 1 turn is actually quite a nice effect. Gladys, the Enchanted. 4 mana, 1 nature, legendary rare, 3/4, 2 speed, starts with 2 energy, gets, for 1 energy, you can get +1 speed until end of turn. Channeling, you can use Gladys's energy to pay for the mana and energy costs of creatures' activated powers. Oddly specific. And for 2 nature, 1 generic, whenever Gladys deals damage to a hero, it gains 2 energy. Now this is a cool creature. I don't think it's good enough, but it's cool. I like the design on this card a lot. I do like it. The channeling's a bit weird. He works with like random stuff like Morning Fairy and like Fleeting Fairy, I guess, if that's ever in play with 0 energy somehow. So that works. However, that's not the reason you're playing this card, if you are. The reason you're playing this card is because it is a 3/4 4-speed attacker that can attack every turn and get damage in and can't be stopped. 2 problems. The first one is that it's 2 speed on their turn, which means they can interact with it, unlike the 3-speed beaters where you can't do that. The other issue is it keeps having to hit them, which means that if they have an Elf Scout, you can't do much. If they have like an Elf Scout and a ton of 2-speed stuff, well, what do? Pump to 3 and hope for the best? Like, is that the kind of stuff you have to do at that point? Maybe? 3/4 is awkward to deal with. I will definitely grant that. 3/4 is awkward to deal with. I will say that. It's a good stat line. We've seen this with Insatiable Ghoul. The question is it enough? And I'm leaning on no. Again, someone could disprove me, but I'm leaning on no. I don't think the incremental value is really that useful. We'll have to see, but I'm not sold. Dying to Harpy also kind of sucks. Morning Fairy, 2 mana, 1 nature, 1 generic, uncommon, 2/1, 2 speed, flying. Whenever another creature dies, another creature you control dies. Big difference there. +1 energy, and channeling, you can use Morning Fairy's energy to pay for the mana cost of creatures. I like this fairy a lot. Now, I tried it in Hate Bears, it doesn't fit, but I am looking at some Dominion variants where this does work because of all the sacrifice cards, like Elite, you can sacrifice stuff, and if you play Elite and sacrifice a slave with Reverence, you actually are, well, basically you just revved. You just drew 2 cards, got a 3/3 with 3 speed, and for 0 mana. So it does work there. It works there a lot, actually. With Corruption, it doesn't seem to. With Order, probably not. However, I do like the card. There is one problem with it, and one problem only. Because Fleeting Fairy recognizes itself as dying and puts it back in your hand, and Morning Fairy seems to recognize it as also dying, even though it's in your hand, you can infinite combo with them. So if you have a Bloodborne Prince in play, a Fleeting Fairy, and 2 Morning Fairies with Reverence, you can go Rev, Bloodborne Prince, Fleeting Fairy, and then double Morning Fairy. And then... Is there any way you can do that more efficiently? No. Anyway, so the point is, you pay 2 for Rev, you pay 2 for the Bloodborne Prince, you pay 3 for the 3 sets of the 3 fairies, so you're at... what, 7 mana invested. Then you can sacrifice Fleeting Fairy. It makes actually, can you do this with 1 morning? I think you can actually do this with 1 Morning Fairy now. Like, you sack Fleeting, it goes back to your hand, generates an energy, you play it again for 1 because of Reverence, draw a card. Okay, you can actually do it with 1. It's a 3-card combo to draw your entire deck. What you do with your entire deck, I have no idea. You probably just keep sprouting creatures and then you win. Leave like 10 cards for yourself and the game's over. So, what? Well, you can put 4 slaves into play for first. But, so like, if you have a Bloodborne Prince in play against a Reverence deck, you kill it or you're dead. Because the next turn is Morning Fairy, Fleeting Fairy with Rev, infinite damage. That has to be fixed. That has to be fixed. I think that's an unintended interaction because I can't see how that got through testing. Like, we've had stuff like this before with, like, Ancient Treant, Primordial Treant, I think, where the ability didn't require mana and you could just, like, tie up their entire board with elves and then put them all into the Treant and, like, hit them for 20. So, yeah. So we've had stuff like this before, this, like, ridiculous comboing potential, and I can't see that as intentional. If it is, oh, this is not going to be fun. But yeah, if it is, this is going to be a, oh, it's not a fun combo to play against. But yeah, I think that is super powerful. I'm going to say that's bugged though, so I'm going to evaluate these based on the fact that either Fleeting Fairy can't return itself, or Morning Fairy doesn't recognize it as dying. One of those two. I imagine Fleeting Fairy will get the change because it also may help fix the Silent Slavery thing. But anyway, so Morning Fairy overall with the Dominion sack outlets is really cool because you get to keep revving until you run out of creatures if you have multiple Morning Fairies, which is really powerful. Does it fit anywhere else? Not really, but it's very, very good in that deck. Is that deck going to be good enough? That's what I want to try. In fact, after Masters, or maybe even next week before Masters, I'll probably start doing deck techs, especially once ranked play starts. Yeah, once ranked play allows these decks, I'm going to be like shoving deck techs out at a ridiculous rate. So yeah, it's going to be interesting, and if it works, yeah, I'll make a video on it because it's a cool idea. I love my Rev decks. I might actually make do like a trio of Rev deck techs, would be kind of funny. Like do Hate Bear as the updated one, and then do Dominion, and then like Care Bears. So just do like 3 Bears decks in a row. That'd be kind of insane. But anyway, I'll probably space those out a bit because I don't think 3 Bears deck techs in a row is what people want. But yeah, so interesting card. I'm not sure how good it is in practice, but interesting card, and it could be quite strong. Probably the best nature card, or no, that goes to Thionor, I think. One of the best nature cards. Empress of the Forest. 3 mana, 1 nature, 1 generic, rare, 3/2, 2 speed, flying, and it's also a fairy. When Empress of the Forest enters the field, other creatures you control get +1 energy, so... okay, so you can use it with anything. The fairies come to mind. Fleeting Fairy, that's overkill. So you only need 1 energy on that. So the fairies come to mind. Morning Fairy, if you have 2 in play, Empress only costs 1. If you have 3 in play, it costs 0, but okay. Like, I think you've already won the game if you're playing that deck. So, I don't like her. I don't think she's good enough. The reason is because 3/2, 2 speed is bad stats. Like, bad stats. Like, Elven Skyrider, 2/2, 3 speed for less. Like, only 1 level. And I think that's more useful than 3/2, 2 speed. The 2 speed is huge and is worth much more than the stat point, and I don't think the abilities make up for it. So yeah, I'm going to say this is a bad card. Maybe I've missed something, but I'm going to say this is a bad card. Alright, Grove Sentinel. One of the most interesting cards in this set. 3 mana, 1 nature, 1 generic, uncommon, 3/2, 2 speed, ranged, and can attack creatures on the support line. This is interesting to me. It literally has range from magic. It can attack flying creatures. Or I guess block flying creatures. But yeah, the point is it interacts with flying creatures. It also just interacts with anything on support row. So this is potentially interesting. The body on it is a bit sketchy. Ranged, however, same body as the previous fairy, but the abilities are worth a lot more. I'll put it that way. Where do I see this seeing play? Maybe elves, possibly, but I'm not sure. I don't think so. So what? Kainu blue. I think Kainu decks, maybe. Kainu decks could maybe get this to work. Why? Because 4/3 with ranged, that dominates the board state, and you got landslide as well. Oh, that's going to be miserable. Now, what's that weak to? Rage. Will rage still be around as much? Probably not, to be honest, the way it's looking right now. Rage is probably going to have a bit of a tough time. So maybe that's worth it. Maybe. Kainu still has the same issues of being incredibly weak to other nature decks and also getting helmed. But maybe it can work. Maybe there's a non-blue Kainu deck. Maybe playing Dominion because you got Minotaur and Mutant in Dominion. You got Gross Sentinel now with some inbuilt draw power with either Fleeting Fairy or VAT, depending on artifact removal. I mean, you want to play VAT, but Fleeting Fairy if there's a change to VAT. Yeah, I think it could see play. I'm not going to say it is going to see play because I don't think it's that insane, but I definitely see potential in 3/2 range stats. Like, that's a lot of attack on a ranged creature. Also, that second ability is really cool. Fëanor, the best nature card. 3 mana, 1 nature, 1 generic, epic, legendary, 3/3, 2 speed, elf shaman, and for 3 mana you can summon a Silver Fang, which we talked about earlier, and if you have 2 nature, 2 generic, the wolves have +2/+2 and swift. This has turned out to be quite good. Not overpowered, as a lot of people seem to think he was when he was put in the secrets, because, well, it turns out he's very mana hungry, but he is very powerful and very, very matchup dependent. It's kind of funny, actually. So this guy has only really seen extensive play in Kainu decks, which aren't really around at the moment, and also hate bears. It's been 2-of and hate bears for about a month right now, just under a month. Now, why is that the case? Well, he helps in the grindy games a lot, especially against angels. It's kind of essential, and also control decks, because the deadly is nice. It's a combat trick. 3/3 is a bit awkward to deal with, and you can go 4 levels later and make them into 4/4s, 3 speed that can attack and also block if you've got the 6 mana. That's huge. Now, against angels, it's much the same, apart from the fact that they only have Ray of Righteousness, and if they don't, they lose. Fëanor almost single-handedly dismantles angels. It's kind of insane. Silver Fang blocks almost everything, and it takes down Namirs and CFCs, and you can't attack with Guardian. It helps take down Guardian, because it helps you hit that 3 creature limit. It's incredible against angels. However, I also think that Dr. Styx, who's another card that requires 4 levels later on, and actually fits in hate bears as well. I played that in a tournament earlier, went 5-0, just hate bears with Styx in it. That, and yeah, that deck is so strong. The Dr. Styx allows you to deal with artifacts, and it means late game, like early game, you've got your standard stuff, and then your mid game, you've got your bridge made of Styx, and also then you can get revving. And after your second or third reverence, Fëanor starts becoming a real threat. You've just got so many waves of power throughout the different phases of the game, and Fëanor's part of that engine, although he is a bit of a smaller part, but he is an essential part, is the point. He's a 2-of in that deck, and unless something crazy changes, I think he's definitely pulling his weight in that deck, and is definitely worth playing. Probably see play in a bunch of other random nature decks, because he's just an overall good card. Bit slow, but overall good if you want to go late game. Elgaron the Eternal. Yes, nature finally got a big dude. Yeah, they seem to have filled out the slots of epics, where now every aspect has the big 4 mana, 4 levels guy. So yeah, kudos for that, by the way. I love the designs on a lot of these creatures, regardless of whether or not they're going to see constructed play. So 4 mana, 2 nature, 2 generic. And it's legendary, obviously, and has the epic rarity, 6/6, 2 speed. There's Antriel stats there. unstoppable. When Elgaron enters the field, deals X damage to each other non-flying creature, where X is X is 1 plus, yeah, misread that. X is 1 plus the number of cards in your graveyard named Elgaron. So the first one deals 1, second one deals 2, third deals 3. So people have tried this from Reanimator. Has it worked? Sort of. It has a weird interaction with Antriel where it gains life when you play it, which is kind of funny, because it's the one dealing the damage. It's potentially a board wipe. I mean, Ziara is actually seeing some play in Reanimator now because the rest of the Corruption Reanimator engine's so strong now with Reign of the Underworld. Also, Ziara Reign is just like board stalemate. Like, no one can ever attack ever again. So, yeah. Elgaron doesn't really work in the Reanimator decks, probably, because of Reign of the Underworld. So if Reign of the Underworld was changed, then does he have a place? Maybe. He is a board wipe, essentially. Like, if you self-mill 2 Elgaron, like, Bezarok is only killing, like, 2 creatures, maybe. Elgaron will wipe almost the entire board against Rage, and then he's a 6-6, and you can't deal with a 6-6. So, unlike Antriel, who, yes, has lifelink, but needs to actually swing and gets chump blocked by goblins all day, Elgaron actually does a lot of damage very fast, and there's a clock. I'm not going to overstate him, though. I don't think he's that insane. I do not see this being played as a control finisher by any means, because his ability's a bit, okay, weak if you only are playing him on curve, because the first one only deals 1, which is awkward, and we've seen with Ziara that's not enough, although 2 speed is a big deal. But yeah, we've seen with Ziara that's not really enough. It's kind of funny that this is just slightly weaker than Ziara if you only play 1, and if you play 2, I'd say it's way stronger. If you play 3, it's like, okay. So yeah, Elgaron versus Ziara, I think Elgaron's a better card, but the bar is low. The bar is low. So yeah, I love Elgaron's design. I think it's really cool. I hope he sees play. Probably won't, but I hope he does. Also an elemental, so you can't get him off Grand Reunion. Understandably. So yeah, what do I think of Nature? I think that overall they have a couple playables. They're better than Order, that's for sure. They've got Silver Fang is seeing constructive play, Fëanor is seeing constructive play, and then you got the potential stuff. Elgaron is on the lower side, but may see some play sometime. There's a couple cards that do that, but then you got Fleeting Fairy is looking really strong, at least the way it currently works, and Morning Fairy is looking really strong the way it currently works, and then you got Gurkha Tribe Shaman is seeing a decent amount of play. So, yeah, that's a decently good set. A fairly balanced set, although apart from the fairy interactions, those I think are not intentional. But anyway, so the rest of the set, though, outside of those little fairy interactions, if those were fixed, I think it is a very, very good set of cards. I do like the design on Nature. I think some of the totem stuff is a bit weird, but I do like the design on Nature. And I would rate it above Order, but probably below Corruption and Dominion, definitely. And you can hear seagulls in the background. Yeah. Anyway, so probably just below Rage, but not by a lot. Yeah, not by a lot, just below Rage. How will Nature come out of this expansion, though? It'll still be incredibly strong. Why? Because Reverence and Landslide and Tornado Outbreak, those are the linchpins of Nature that are so incredibly strong. Also, the Elf deck will still be good enough, probably, although it doesn't gain anything else out of the expansion besides Silverfang and Gurkha Tribe that it sometimes plays. So, Gurkha Tribe Shaman, not Warrior. So elves won't get any stronger. However, it'll probably still be around. Hate Bearers is amazing now, and yeah, that will still be around everywhere. So Nature's not going anywhere. But the set overall, the additions, I really like the designs on, and I think they're really well done. So anyway, lastly, we've got Wisdom, that I will be covering tomorrow, as I have tested the vast majority of the interactions I needed to clarify now on that aspect, since there are some strange ones. So anyway, thank you all for watching. If you like the content, please subscribe. If you have any feedback or want to ask me any questions, put it in the comment section below. If you want to support the channel directly, there's a link to my Patreon in the description, along with a 75,000 gold code for new players. It also gives you the Disquisitive Spirit Card Back. But for now, it's been Jotto, signing off.